Boogie, the Eddie Huang film.
Wong, I believe.
Huang, my apologies. Um, yeah, this was a film I think we were probably most interested in for the Pop Smoke, the acting debut and kind of his
Final role.
only role. Um, and I didn't really know again what to expect from this film. I saw the trailer, which
Yeah.
looked absolutely fire, and
That
I was
that was
like,
the entry point, right? It's like the trailer comes out early 2021. Not only do you see that Pop Smoke is a part of the movie, but the trailer is really fucking compelling.
yeah,
Great music, and you're like, shit, is this another Above the Rim?
right,
Again,
yeah,
Tupac in Above the Rim. Very similar subject matter to it, to be honest. You're like, huh, I'm hyped as fuck for Boogie. This looks
mhm,
dope.
yeah.
And that trailer is still really good. And you can't take anything away from the trailer, but unfortunately, the movie doesn't quite hit those levels.
Yeah, and right from the get go, it's pretty interesting, right? Because I think you take the basketball movie stereotype, which is usually a black male who's taken to the sport, and it's like his escape from things going on at home, and you kind of flip that on its head by making the lead character of Asian descent,
Yeah.
um, East Asian, traditional family, and um, I think that is actually probably where I felt like most of the problems with the movie were, is that I feel like they kind of knew what they were trying to say, but didn't always effectively portray it or demonstrate it in the movie. And then sometimes it felt a little bit like too much, or just almost like they the portrayals of some of the things I made me question how true to life some of these things actually are, and I kind of just felt like, I don't know how real this feels. I think some of it definitely is like cultural aspects, play a major factor in the lives of
Mhm.
um, people from Asian cultures. But I think just some of the ways that they characterized it felt a little cartoonish at points. How did you feel about that aspect of the film?
Yeah, and I think that's what's disappointing about it is that you see the bones of what Boogie could have been,
Hmm.
and you see what was attempting to be accomplished. And then when you watch the film and you see a lot of the vagueness and kind of unfortunate consequences that still kind of lead to like otherizing Asians in the space, and it's like clearly that was not the goal, but that's kind of
Hmm.
what you got, and it makes it even more disappointing because Eddie Huang. I don't know if you're how familiar you are with him, but he is definitely an interesting guy because he's like one of those like multi hyphenates, right? Very famous in the food scene. Of course, his memoir "Fresh Off the Boat" was adapted into the successful ABC sitcom with Randall Park and Constance Wu, which ran for I think like 6 seasons. It was a very very successful show and well liked show, and Eddie actually had an interesting relationship to the show because he thought they almost sanitized his what he was really going for at times, and I think he's come around on it a little bit more, but still, you could feel like he okay now this is his directorial debut. He's ready to actually say and tell the story he wanted to tell,
Mhm.
and going into this movie, it seems like he was definitely in that control. His lead character, Boogie, was not originally played by Toa Takahashi. It was played by somebody else. Toa Takahashi was a guy he met playing ball out in California and hired to be his PA after they connected over some time. And next thing you know, he actually cast him instead as Boogie. This is his film debut. And you understand why Toa Takahashi was cast because he can ball. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably one of the best aspects of Boogie is they didn't do the opposite thing where they cast real actors and then just fudge the basketball scenes by like quick cutting and like faking the shots and stuff. For the most part, the action of the basketball is pretty.
It's all right.
I think the half court scenes
Yeah.
a lot of times those are one shot. And yeah, it's a lot of dribble handoffs. Like it's a lot of like give and goes and stuff. It's not the most intricate ball, but I still feel like it was kind of modern ball.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate like the attempt to actually like do it the real way. Pop Smoke, another guy who could bring it and actually play a little
Yeah.
bit. Um, and I think how'd you feel about Toa Takahashi's lead? I think right off the bat, both him and Taylor Page's girlfriend character, they're both. I think Taylor's 28 and or Taylor's 30 and uh, Takahashi's 28. So like they definitely don't feel like high school age
No.
people right off the jump.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought Takahashi was all right for his first role, but you can tell he's not a trained actor.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is the physicality definitely shines through. I mean, he's very handsome dude. He carries himself in this movie, I think, like high school hotshot might. But then I think some of the scenes where he needs to be a little bit more vulnerable or he's really going through it, like the scene between him and Taylor Page when they're about to have sex for the first time and he's
Ugh.
feeling really self-conscious. That scene felt
Mhm.
very like not his best work. Or
But I think part of it too is sometimes the writing doesn't do him a lot of favors. Like I was
true.
surprised at how weird some of the scenes he was given were.
Hmm.
Like that sex scene where they're
Yeah.
actually just straight up talking about like stereotypes about Asian genitalia, like right in
Hmm.
the open. But having him, the character, express it, I almost felt was diminishing like the goal of like, yes, she doesn't, not a big deal, doesn't care. And, oh, by the way, he measured his dick, it's normal size, so fuck you. But it's like I feel like the way they handled it was almost like a little like juvenile still. I don't know.
Yeah, I think especially like just the way he comes out and says it right there, there definitely could have been some more subtlety. So I agree, the script could have helped him out a little bit more. Or even the scene where he decides to sign the deal to get his father out of jail, but then he finds out he got into St. John's on a full scholarship. Which, first of all, the timing is just like,
Good stuff there.
yeah, it's such a movie like trope. But then like the way he gets like upset, I just was like, I don't know, this just feels like it could have used a more seasoned actor in that moment. But I agree. I think like the he looks like a real ball player for sure when he's out there. I do going back to your point about the basketball stuff. I mean the defense. They do one pick and roll and there's like just no one underneath the rim somehow. I don't know how this happens.
Hey, it's 5 out, man. It's hard to defend.
um, but I think overall he was okay.
Yeah, he's good enough. Like he's not the
Yeah,
reason the movie has issues.
no, not. I agree. Did you like Pop Smoke?
I wanted more Pop Smoke.
Yeah,
Definitely, I thought he was in the movie way more.
I
um,
know.
but I thought he was good as kind of like the villain because he's not like it's not like he's a killer. He's not like he's like some like you know guy in the streets. He's not Tupac and above the rim. It's a little different. He's just like the rival basketball player character,
Right.
and he's this big boogeyman to Boogie.
Hmm.
And yeah, I thought he was pretty effective is it at it because he was a charismatic guy. Again, the 50 Cent comparisons really rained through. It's like, man,
Yeah.
just watching Pop Smoke like smile as he like pushes some dude and intimidates them on the court. It's like, yeah, it's so believable, right?
Yeah.
And also, I think his character at the end when he calls Boogie a egg roll was a
Hmm.
also an effective way to like, yeah, like there is some subtle racism on the
Hmm.
basketball court, especially when you're the one Asian guy, which again calls back to how they handled Jeremy Lin right off the bat, right? Basketball movie, Asian basketball player. Oh,
Yeah.
Jeremy Lin's gonna come up, right? Right in like the first 10 minutes, they're like, fuck Jeremy Lin, he doesn't speak for everyone, right?
Hmm.
Which I really respected. But for Pop Smoke, uh, I think he's an effective villain, but man, I wanted more. Like I thought
Yeah.
there's a lot of melodrama and family stuff in the film Boogie and has its issues, which we can still keep going into. And in the process, you almost feel like that antagonist that is uh what's his name? Uh fuck. And
Melvin.
yeah, whatever. His the antagonist that Pop Smoke plays.
Oh, the Pop Smoke place. Sorry.
Mop
Yeah.
was it? Mob?
It's Monk.
Monk,
Monk.
yes. Like Monk's like aura and presence is almost more affected on Boogie the character because of everyone else like talking up like his dad and stuff, right? And like I wish there were some more scenes like them like running into each other like on the street and stuff. I don't know. Like don't you feel like we could have used a scene like in Goodwill Hunting where they just get in a fight or something?
Yeah. I thought there was gonna be something like that. What he was basically that boogeyman character, and like you said, they kind of just made more of the conflict, the family melodrama stuff between Mr. Chin, Miss Chin, and then Melvin, who,
Mm.
uh, I mean. was there an affair going on there?
They hint at it right early on,
Yeah.
right? It's like he's holding, looks at the wedding ring, she looks down, and I was like, oh wow, she's definitely gonna fuck this dude.
Yeah, right? And then I don't
Maybe
know.
she did. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. How did you feel about them kind of harkening back to like the Mr. and Mrs. Chin going to the I don't even know what that woman's
Yeah.
role
Well, I
was.
mean, that was kind of a problem I had with the movie is because right off the bat, and then you end the movie with it too, and you have some interstitials. We're flashing back to like what some fortune teller, some like mystic character.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, later on, there's this whole scene where Boogie apologizes to the coach and I guess a principal or something, and he's on his knees praying or apologizing. But either way, his dad's like talking about respect and honor and family. And it's like, oh man, there's just some annoying Asian culture cliches in this movie, which again really surprised me because you can tell Eddie Huang actually thinks thoughtfully about this stuff and is not just a surface level guy. Like even in the movie, they talk about like the difference between being an Asian American, ABC, Asian born Chinese, and then being someone from China and like how they're different.
Hmm.
And Eddie Huang's character, Uncle Jackie, is like kind of t- expressing these values to Boogie about how the pressure comes from the family because of what they experienced back home and stuff. And it's like you had all these like more high level thoughts, but at the end of the day, you boiled it down to just some basic ass shit.
Hmm.
And those cliches I find really unfortunate.
Yeah, especially because I feel like some of the tension with the family and like the different cultural aspects at play, the father being so focused on like him being successful in this certain
Yeah.
way of like beating Monk, and if they
Yeah.
beat Monk, everything else will follow. And the mom being more realistic, like, we have bills to pay, like we need to be successful financially no matter what how we get there. And like I thought that was actually like an interesting conflict to
Sure.
explore and put him in. And then to kind of harken it back to, like you said, like the fortune teller just felt kind of like off-putting in a sense. I just kind of didn't feel like it really added much to the movie. Yeah, and especially because he goes to the same one and that his parents went to like 40 years earlier, and
Yeah. It's like
uh,
around the corner.
yeah, I don't know. It's kind of strange.
Movie set in
Like,
Flushing.
well, and couldn't it have just been like a spiritual advisor, in a sense, instead of being like if they had brought some sort of like spirituality aspect in, maybe that would have been an interesting thing. But to have it be like a fortune teller, literally how the person's listed, just felt kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, just like it just felt like it boiled down to like that Asian mysticism stereotyping. But also, like, was it necessary to the story? I don't think it was. Like,
No.
did we need that like weird backstory about his parents? Because it doesn't really convey that much anyway. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like his dad was really like a stock character at the end of the day. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Um, I'm just sorry. I'm just looking down the character list here. The assistant coach. So the coach Hawkins is Dominic Lombardozzi, who's
Yeah.
from a bunch of things. But Despot. Do you remember the rapper Despot?
No,
No,
I didn't recognize him.
he did some stuff with Ratatat, which I think is why I'm like recognizing the name. But he plays the assistant coach, and he's from Flushing, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
He had some funny lines where he's like explaining to the coach what zaddy means and
yeah,
stuff like that. I
that's
think
pretty
that
good.
there's some funny moments with the script, like when Charlemagne the God comes in playing the Georgetown coach randomly, which is a little distracting to me.
Yeah,
Uh, he's like, it says Taiwanese beer, and then the mom's like, oh, it's complicated. I was like, that was great.
yeah, that
Well
was
played
pretty good.
there. Then on the other hand, though, like, what'd you feel about how'd you feel about Boogie's pickup line where he's like, "You have a pretty vagina." It's like, what the fuck? How the fuck would that ever work?
I, dude, literally my jaw dropped, and I was like, are they just like I didn't really understand what the point is. They just trying to say he's brash. He doesn't really have game. I had no idea what they were
Right.
going for there, but yeah, that was terrible. And
Shout
like,
out.
go
Go ahead.
ahead, go ahead. I was just gonna say, like, how does his friend not be like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
like, dude, what's wrong with
Oh man. Shout out Taylor Page though. She
you?
plays like the
Yeah,
girlfriend character.
I like her.
We saw her a little bit in Ma Rainey as Chadwick's girlfriend, but
Mhm.
apparently she's really good in the upcoming A24 movie Zola, which was a big
Mm.
Sundance hit in 2020. So we'll be talking about Taylor Page pretty soon, I have to imagine. But yeah, it's just funny that the two Taylors. They're both pushing 30. It's like some Amazing Spider-Man shit where Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield are totally not high school age.
Well, funny that you mentioned Spider-Man too, because Jorge Lindenborg Jr., who plays his friend, is in both the
Yeah,
Homecoming ones,
that's
and
right.
I actually thought he got a nice moment. You know, he gets like that nice monologue, like everybody here wants to be you, but we
Mhm.
do your dirty work so
Yeah.
you can be you. And I was like, okay, well, this is not the most well written, but you know, I'm glad he got a little like
Yeah.
monologue to work with.
I like this moment to the coach in the locker room. He's like, I don't know, coach, but I'm here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Did you recognize Mike Moe? He plays Melvin. That's the guy who played Bruce Lee in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh shit.
I didn't recognize him at all. Obviously, did like the different haircut.
I mean, I was like, this guy's super handsome. He's probably been in things I've seen, but I didn't
Right.
even
Yeah.
put that together. That's cool. I actually thought the mom was from something, but I couldn't place her, and it doesn't seem like it's anything I've seen her in. So,
Hmm.
yeah. Any last thoughts on this? I mean, Boogie, I think disappointing, but still kind of fun.
Yeah. So kind of fun for sure. You don't get a lot of basketball movies anyway, so
Yeah.
I like this. But yeah, I mean, that's what's so annoying about it is that you saw that this could have been way better, and a lot of those flaws are just really glaring. Shout out the music. Obviously, got
Yeah. I
a
mean,
lot of New
music's
York
great.
here. Starts off right off the bat with like the credits screens popping up with Jay Electronica's Exhibit C.
Mhm.
So Boogie's walking down the street. That shit went hard. Get Chef G at the end. You get 504 in. You get Pop Smoke a few times. I laughed when the MC at the court, you know, at the stand-in for the Rucker, he uh Monk like makes a dunk or something, and the MC's like, "Welcome to the party." And then later they play Pop Smoke's "Welcome to the Party." I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
man, that's just
Yeah.
like there for the Pop Smoke fans, I guess."
The only music choice I didn't like was again that sexy. Or you know, they have that weird song going on. He kind of keeps going back to it, and then they stick with it after. And I was just like,
Yeah.
it's not working for me.